The fatal shooting of another woman during a police operation last evening has led to fresh questions about the role some women are playing in organized crime. This evening, we begin a look at examining what experts say is an evolving and often misunderstood reality. Two women, two alleged police confrontations just days apart, one in Manchester and the other in Westmoreland. Now, they're both dead. In Manchester, the police described Satania Booth as a woman who acted as the spy and scoped out areas, then called her cronies. In Westmoreland, Carleen Henry was among a group of men who police say was allegedly carrying a high-powered rifle and alighted from a vehicle and opened fire on the police. The incidents have reignited questions about the presence of women among alleged criminals and their role in the criminal underworld.
Why would we want to sit down every day and say that the women, they're not trouble nobody, they can't?
For decades, the face of violent crime in Jamaica has been dominated by males. From the gang leaders, wanted suspects, to persons of interest. However, investigators say organized crime has never been about gunmen alone. So, where do women fit in that picture? We put the issue to anthropologist Dr. Herbert Gale.
We have them as sentinels. Those are the ones that are on the road, that make the phone call, that alert. We have them as gun bags, they store weapons. We have them as invitees, where they bring in people from different communities into communities to commit violence. And nobody knows who. So women do a lot of, and participate a lot in violence, in organized crime.
Dr. Gale argues that behind many criminal operations are people whose names rarely make the headlines. But a study released by the Caribbean Policy Institute, CAPRI, in February 2025 suggests the reality is complex. CAPRI found that while police reports fuel the perception that women are playing a larger role in violent crime, arrest and incarceration data do not show a corresponding increase in women's involvement in violent offenses. But for some Jamaicans, the bigger question is not whether women are involved, it's why. Dr. Patrice Charles King is lead counseling psychologist at the Phoenix Counseling Center.
They have to either facilitate or engage in crime. So they give themselves permission. Now, rationalization is a cognitive distortion from a psychological perspective. And so when you are convincing yourself that this is the right thing to do, this is the only way to feed your kids, to send them to school, to pay your bills, you're basically convincing yourself to engage in crime. But then there are also those women that have experienced trauma, especially childhood trauma.
And so there are questions about how these women move away from the life of crime. For executive director and co-founder at E for Life, Joy Crawford, support is critical.
We have a culture in our society where people feel powerless, because if I stand up against an oppressor, where do I go for protection? What is in place for me? You know, what has the government put in place in terms of witness protection? If I have to move from my home and my community, where am I going to go? So there are those concerns that a lot of women have to say, it better me stay or me do what I have to do to protect my children.
The woman killed by the police during the reported confrontations with armed thugs remain at the center of active police investigations. However, a broader conversation lies beyond the incidents. How criminal networks continue to evolve and whether society is doing enough to stop vulnerable persons such as women from becoming a part of them.